Hello everyone, and welcome to this latest presentation in the OSLC Community Webcast series. Today's presentation is Developing OSLC-Based Integrations, Covair's Experience. The Communications Workgroup from OSLC started this webcast series at the beginning of this year to provide a forum for OSLC community members to share their experiences and their successes, to show off their work, and to connect with other OSLC community members to begin another round of creative collaboration. Covair has previously done a beautiful webinar highlighting and demonstrating the integrations and what they provide for their customers. You can find this webinar on the Covair website, and I encourage you to take a look, as it really gives a wonderful example of what they've been able to achieve using OSLC as their integration technology. To get a sense for the breadth of integration that the Covair Omnibus integration provides, I also encourage you to go and take a look at open-services.net/software. And as you look through all the products listed on that page, you'll see under the support column how often Covair Omnibus integration comes up and the wide breadth of products that this enables you to connect to integrate with through their solution. So with all this wonderful work that they've done, we now have a fabulous opportunity to get inside the effort that took place at Covair and learn from their experiences. So I would now like to turn control over to Atanu Majumdar, the VP of Product and Technology for Covair, and the Senior Project Manager there, Puranjoy Chatterjee.
Thank you, Sean. My name is Atanu Majumdar. I'm the Vice President Production Technology at Covair. I have with me today Puranjoy Chatterjee, who is the Senior Project Manager. Today we'll be discussing about Covair's experiences in developing OSLC-based integration. Puranjoy was the architect for developing these OSLC-based integrations. So we will start today with an ALM integration scenario and its problems, and then we'll see how Covair Omnibus integration platform is coming as a solution there. Next, we'll talk about OSLC and some of its concepts. And then we'll see how Covair is enabling OSLC support for major ALM tools. And then Puranjoy will take us through the development lifecycle of Covair OSLC adapter and the experiences that we had while doing the design, development, debugging, testing of Covair OSLC adapter. And finally, we'll have a question and answer session, and you would be able to submit your question using the questions panel, and we'll get you answers. So let's start with a typical ALM integration scenario. In this picture, we described a typical software development ecosystem where your requirement analyst is using IBM Requisite Pro tool. Your architect is using Enterprise Architect. Another group of architects may be using IBM Software, Rational Software Modeler. Your Java developers are using Eclipse. Your .NET developers are using Visual Studio. Your configuration management is getting done using Team Foundation Server. It could be Subversion. It could be IBM ClearCase also. Building is through Hudson. Java developers are doing unit testing using JUnit. and your test management is getting done with HP Quality Center and functional testing with Quick Test Professional. Now you see that most of these tools are not connected. Maybe some of the tools which are coming from the same vendor, they are connected. Like if you are picking Rational Software Modeler and Requisite Pro, there is an integration between that. If you are choosing Visual Studio and Team Foundation Server, there would be some integration. If you are using Quality Center and QTP only, there would be integration. But, for example, if you want to see your requirements from within Team Foundation Server or Visual Studio, you are out of luck there. So generally what you do when you confront that situation when the tools are not connecting to each other, you go for a point-to-point custom connection. But that is not a scalable solution. The complexity, the number of adapters that you have to build to connect 10 different tools, for example, would be 45 different connectors that you need. The order of complexity is there n square. So that is not in any way a scalable solution to build an integrated ALM ecosystem. Now let's talk about some of the problems that you have when you do not have the tools connected. The first one is visibility. So as a developer, let's say I'm using Visual Studio or Team Foundation Server, whereas my requirements are getting tracked within Requisite Pro. So from Visual Studio or TFS, as a developer, I do not have any visibility into the requirements as they are getting developed, refined, modified. I do not have any idea about how the things are done within Requisite Pro. And also the same way, I do not have any visibility into the test cases as they are getting created or as they are getting executed within HP Quality Center or QTP. So that's a big problem. The second one is the traceability. So if you cannot trace your requirements to your models and then to your code files and then to your test cases and defects, how do you basically propagate your changes that are getting done, let's say, within requirement down the chain? So if the requirement gets modified, the developer needs to be notified about that. The model may need to be changed. The test cases need to be modified. So unless these artifacts that are getting generated through different tools are not connected or traced, there is no way you would be able to do a good change management or impact analysis. The next one is the collaboration. So unless the developer can collaborate with the tester on the defect that he is working on, maybe he or she is not being able to recreate the defect. So he needs to collaborate with the tester, and unless these tools are connected, you would not be able to do that. And finally is the reporting. Your project manager needs reporting, and that needs to collect the data from different tools. So today, what project manager does, he or she collects these different data from different tools through some export mechanism and put those in an Excel sheet to create the report. And that's a wastage of time, productivity, and also it's outdated the moment you kind of generate that. So those are the major problems with a typical the disconnected ALM ecosystem as we have today. So what are the benefits that we are looking from an integrated ALM system? As we discussed, the data visibility is number one, traceability between the artifacts generated from different tools, process automation across tools, and of course, consolidated reporting. And that would basically bring in better project management and quality. And of course, you would have better productivity because you are not wasting time to collect information from different tools. From within your preferred environment, preferred tool environment, you could see your lifecycle artifacts forward and backward from within your tool environment. Now, let's see how Covair is bringing the solution for ALM integration. So as you can see in this picture, Covair is providing an integration platform. It's a one-stop solution for your ALM integration. And you can see all these tools are connected through adapters to these integration platforms. The beauty of this architecture is that you don't need to build 45 connectors to connect 10 different tools. You just need 10 adapters. And the moment a tool is on this platform, it can talk to any other tool on the platform and synchronize data bidirectionally with any of these tools. And with this platform, you get consolidated reporting, dashboarding, you have process automation across the lifecycle stages, and of course you have the traceability through the requirement, coding, testing to your deployment. Now, Covair is a service-oriented architecture-based enterprise service bus-based integration platform. Of course, it is not point-to-point integration. The order of complexity here is n. So that results in the reduction in the cost and effort for your integration. Covair comes up with out-of-the-box integration for the Java development, .NET, and open source development. If you have a distributed team where your tools are in different geographic locations and your tools are under or behind the firewall, there is no problem. Covair Omnibus is service-oriented architecture, and it can integrate any tool behind the firewall. When you are setting up an integration for different projects, for different tools, you may need to have different kind of integration rules. So you need to have a configurable platform where you can set up as an end user your integration rules just through drag and drop configurations without requiring any coding. Covair does provide that. And finally, you have a process traceability reporting across the entire development lifecycle. So this is the Covair architecture for on-premise application tools. You have the bus and the tools are connected through the adapter. Covair also supports hybrid cloud environment. So if your tools are within the cloud, like it could be Salesforce, QuickBooks, NetSuite, Covair also has the IT service management tool, which is SaaS. And we have adapters for those cloud-based tools so that you can build a hybrid cloud environment also. This is the inventory of the tools currently we have. It's about 30 plus tools, and you can see it covers majority of the lifecycle stages in ALM. And this is a growing list. We are building adapters every quarter. So now let's get into OSLC. So what is OSLC? OSLC is a community-driven open specification for sharing data across the lifecycle tools. And OSLC is organized into a number of work groups that are focused on specific lifecycle stages in ALM. And those are like change management, quality management, requirements management, asset management, and architecture management. There are two concepts, OSLC provider and OSLC consumer. So what is an OSLC provider? OSLC provider exposes the domain data as it is defined in OSLC. and it provides REST APIs or JSON or XML to create, update, and delete resources within that particular tool. It also provides delegated UI. And what is the consumer? The consumer provides or consumes the data that is provided by the OSLC provider. And what it does, it offers UI interfaces to access all this domain data through the delegated UIs and service calls. And it also establishes links between, traceability links between the artifacts. So now let's talk about how Covair is bringing the support for OSLC. So Covair has built an OSLC adapter around its Omnibus. As you know, that Covair Omnibus has all the majority lifecycle tools on the Omnibus already. But these tools are mostly not natively supporting OSLC today. It may be some point later, but today they are not natively OSLC enabled. So what Covair has built an OSLC adapter around its Omnibus, and that way we are kind of enabling these tools, Jira, Quality Center, TFS, SharePoint, as OSLC providers. And any OSLC consumer tool can consume all the services provided through this OSLC adapter. At this point, we support the change management, quality management, and requirements management specification. We are also working on the architecture management. This is the architecture, the Covair Omnibus connecting to the tools through the adapters. We have built an OSLC adapter on top of Covair Omnibus that is kind of taking the calls from OSLC consumer through REST API, and then on the other side it is talking to Covair Omnibus through the adapter to the tools to get the OSLC responses back. So this is, as Sean mentioned, that last in March we had a demo showing the OSLC kind of integration, and there we showed the integration with Team Foundation Server, Requisite Pro, Quality Center, and Jira. Then that's the screen that we are showing here, and also the link. Today we are not going through the demo, but you can always go to this recorded webinar and check that. At this point, I would introduce Puranjay to take us through the software development lifecycle and the experiences that we had while building the Covair OSLC adapter. So Puranjay, let me just share your, let me make you the presenter. So you are the presenter, Puranjay. The floor is yours now.
Thank you, Atanu. Hi, everybody. So I'll be discussing about how the Covair OSLC adapter was built. So I'll be mainly talking about the development path we had taken. But before that, I'll discuss shortly regarding the requirements and requirements to build an OSLC provider. Then some design considerations that we had made, and then come to the development task, the details of the development task. Then we'll have a short debug session where I'll run through the code. It will be a live session, so you can see some of the code and how the calls are getting executed. Then I'll discuss about the testing plan. What were the things in particular we had to keep in mind for doing the testing. Then we'll discuss about the Leo test suite. So it actually helped us verify the product. Whatever we built, they were as per the specs. And then I'll talk shortly about the challenges we had faced while doing this development. First, let's talk about the requirements for building an OSLC adapter. So any tool that has to build a provider, they have to allow the OSLC consumer to connect to that particular tool. So that is the first requirement. Allow establishing a connection between the OSLC consumer tool and the provider tool. So if we say the OSLC consumer is RRC, Rational Requirement Composer, then and QC is the provider, then we'll have to set up a way so that these tools can get connected. So after the connection is established, next target would be to publish a catalog of artifact containers being exposed by the provider tool. By artifact container, what we mean here is that all these tools, they have some artifacts or some items, some resources which we are trying to get linked from the consumer. So these resources or artifacts are usually kept inside some logical grouping. They are kept inside some container. In QC it is projects, in TFS also the container is a project. But in some other tool, may say SharePoint, it is a site. Similarly, for some other tool it may be a module. So we have to publish a list of containers, that is list of projects for QC. Next, a service provider has to be published that will give the information for linking the artifacts or creating new artifacts in the provider tool. Also, we'll have to allow creating or linking domain data from the provider tool. So the catalog basically publishes the locations or URLs from which the links can be established, and then we have to actually do the linking. After that, once the link is established, we should be able to provide a preview. When somebody does a mouse over on that link within the OSLC consumer tool, that person should be able to view a short description about the resource. That resource is actually in some other tool like QC or TFS or Jira, but the person should get a short view as a preview. And if he clicks on that link, he should get a detailed screen where all the field values or whatever field values are exposed for the integration, those will show up. So this actually allows the user to see the data without going into the provider tool. And then some backlinks need to be created inside the artifacts of the provider tool, so that sitting in the provider tool also you get an idea that this particular item is connected to such and such items in the OSLC consumer. So these are the requirements, top level requirements for an OSLC provider. And our integration, actually it is an adapter which enables all the tools connected to Omnibus to behave as a provider. So while doing the design, these are the major considerations that we had to do. Firstly, the adapter had to be built on .NET technology. This is keeping in line with the technology which we are using for our main product, the Omnibus integration, and also the Covare application. So we chose to stick to the same technology platform and build this adapter also on .NET technology. Then the next major decision was regarding the artifact containers for each tools. So as I just explained, the artifact containers may be different for each tool. So this became a challenging situation for us, and we had to make sure that the proper container is exposed for the proper tool. Then the selection and creation dialogues had to be created so that people who are linking items from the consumer, from RRC, say, they can see the items from the provider tools, link them, or create their own items inside the provider tools from the OSLC consumer interface. Once the link is created, we had to make sure that the preview information was being fetched from all these tools and showed up properly. and if somebody clicked on that link, we had to make sure that the feed level data from the provider tool was being rendered properly. And finally, the backlinks. So this also was not so simple task for us, considering that the backlinks had to be placed inside the tools which were connected to Omnibus. So in this case, say TFS, QC. So inside these artifacts, we have to create the links to the OSLC item. So these were the major considerations while doing the design. Let's now talk about how the integration works. So on the left-hand side, you can see that there is an OSLC consumer tool. It can be RRC, RTC, or RQM. And this tool is sending out requests to the Coware OSLC provider. Requests can be of the nature of search, or creating a link, or creating a new item, or a preview request. So all these requests come to the Coware OSLC provider, and this provider forwards the request to the Coware Omnibus integration platform. So the tools on the right-hand side, which are already integrated with Omnibus, then gets the request and furnishes or provides the data. So this response from that specific tool flows back to the same chain and reaches the OSLC consumer. So this is the way the entire integration works. So this is a generic design diagram for building an OSLC provider. So it basically speaks about the specific items that we need to build and the information that we get out of each of these items. So to start with, we have to come up with a root service. This is the main URL of your integration or your provider. And when this root service is registered in the OSLC consumer tool, then some calls from the consumer tool comes to this URL, and these are the information that needs to be provided at that time. The catalog URL, the OAuth URLs, the consumer key generation URL. So catalog URL is a URL that gives you a list of service providers. So when you hit that URL, you'll get a list of service providers or containers. Next is the OAuth URLs. So these are, there are I think 3 or 4 URLs that are returned, and these are used by the consumer for authorization through OAuth. And lastly, there's the consumer key generation URL. So this URL is again used to generate a consumer key. The consumer key acts as a link between the consumer and the provider. It helps the consumer to uniquely identify which provider it is going to talk to. Then comes the catalog. So catalog, as I said, it gives you a list of URLs for the service providers. So service providers are, you can think of them as the artifact containers. So you'll get, if there are 5 projects from QC, you'll get 5 service provider URLs when you ask for the catalog or when you hit the catalog URL. Now we have established a connection between the tool at this level. So the consumer is now connected to the particular tool. Next, the catalog provides you the project level or the container level information, and after selecting the specific container that you want to integrate with, now you are connected to the project level also. Next, we have to go down to the artifact level. So for doing that, at the service provider level, you get some URLs for selection dialogues and creation dialogues for the specific artifacts. So using those URLs, you can either get a list of items from which you can select an existing one and link it, or you can get a creation dialog where you can create a new item, and this item will be created inside the provider tool and the link will be placed inside your consumer. So when this link is getting placed inside the artifact from your consumer, over there the item details link will be returned. And this item details is a link that the OSLC consumer will use to fetch the item level data for the connected items. So it may be for the sake of a preview, that will be a shorter information, or it may be for the detailed information, field level, all the fields. So in that case, the user will click on the link and it will get the view or edit UI for doing that. So this is overall design of a OSLC provider. Now we move ahead to the development task. So as you can see from the previous slide, the development tasks also map one-to-one with that slide. Over here you have to first develop the root service. Root service will provide the OAuth authorization and consumer key generation facilities and also the catalog. Then the catalog will provide the artifact container links, and from the artifact container links you can go down to the selection dialog or to the creation dialog. And from the item details, once the link is established, from the item details we'll get the preview data and also the details of the item if you want to view it by clicking on it. And lastly, we have the backlinks. So developing the backlinks in the provider tools, that was the last task. So let's go through this task one after the other and see what was the response like and what was the code used in these particular components. So first, the root service. So if you look at the box below, you will see that there are some red underlines. So the first underline showing that the root service ASPX, that is the base URL, that is the URL of the root service itself. Next, you see a catalog.aspx URL. So this is the URL, this is the URL for the catalog. And after that you see some request token URL, user authorization URL, access token URL. So these are all the URLs which are used for OAuth authentication. And lastly, you see the consumer key URL. So the OSLC consumer calls this URL to generate a consumer key, and this consumer key is used for further communication with this particular provider. So basically this root service data that I just showed, the response, that is practically a static XML. So in this piece of code shown here, you can see that the same XML, it is being returned in either JSON format or in the RDF format based on what kind of a request has come. If the accept type of the request is RDF XML, then we are returning a string in RDF format. Otherwise, it's a JSON format string. So we have to keep in mind here that the calls may come from the consumer tool itself, or it can also come from some programmatic way. It can be an API call or direct call from the UI. So after the root service, we get to the catalog. So the catalog provides URLs for the service providers or artifact containers. And the service providers, you can think of them as projects in the provider tool. So if you look at the data over here, the response structure shown, so you'll see that services.aspx, that is the base URL for the catalog. And after that, you get a number 5010, which is the project ID. So this particular service provider URL you get over here is for a particular project. So this is for 5010 project. So if we had 5 projects over here, this entire service provider group would have been repeated 5 times with different project IDs. So now we have connected the tool. We have got a list of projects also over here. And if you see the code that has generated this particular response, you see the base URL for the service provider over here as services.aspx. And after that, you see that project ID has been appended to it. So this project ID is coming from the Omnibus integration. So you see omniproj.project ID. Okay, so this is the catalog response. So when you are using a consumer tool, you can see that this is a screen for adding an association. And over here in the associations tab at the bottom, you see an add button over there on the right hand side. When you click that, this add association window comes up. And over here you see the OSLC workspace. The artifact containers are listed, and the OSLC workspace is one artifact container that is coming from the project, from the Coware adapter. So that particular workspace is exposed over here. This is the 5010 workspace. And when you select this and click on OK, this particular workspace is associated with this consumer project and using this particular relation. So now we have been able to connect up to the project level, and we are inside the provider, the artifact container. So what does the artifact container return? So it returns some URLs for the delegated UIs. There are two major delegated UIs. One is for selecting an existing item. Another is for creating a new item. It also provides some capabilities for query capability and creation factory. So using APIs, if somebody is trying to query your resources, they should be able to do that, as well as they should be able to create items within the provider. And these two items at the bottoms are for the selection dialog and creation dialog. So in the next slide, I have these nodes expanded. So this is the details. First paragraph is for the selection dialog, where we see the URL for the selector.aspx page and for this particular project again. And these are the type of linkages that are allowed with this particular provider. So these are mentioned here. It can be a defect or a plan item or a task. So these items can be related to the items that are coming from this particular provider location. And at the bottom we see the creation dialog. In the creation dialog, again we get a URL for the creator page for that particular project ID, and also we get the usages, like it can be connected to these particular items in the consumer. So this is a screenshot of a selector dialog or a selection UI. So here we can see that choose existing is selected, and just below that radio button, the rest of the screen is coming from Coware, the Coware adapter, and it is rendering a list. So within this list, see on the top we have some tool, entity, view, and filter. So these tools are all the tools that are connected from the Coware Omnibus. And if we have selected TFS here, we get the bug entity, or we get the list of entities that are exposed from the TFS adapter. And when we have selected that and selected a filter, we get a list. Clicking on any of these items and clicking on submit, we create the link to the OSLC consumer from this provider. And when this link is established, the Coware item.aspx URL is also pushed to the consumer. So this is the item details page. This URL will be accessed by the consumer as soon as the link is provided or the link is established. And this is the details of the item detail page. So from here we again go to the next level. We generate some URLs for the preview. So there are two URLs for preview. One is the preview small, another is the preview large. So preview small typically shows 3 or 4 fields, and preview large shows a few more fields, say 7 or 8 fields. So once the link is established, this item details URL is accessed, and again this RDF XML data is returned from here, which gives the links for the preview pages. And also from the item details page, you get to see or you get to return all these data for this particular resource. The short title, identifier, created, modified. These are the items which OSLC mandates that these fields data has to be supplied. So these are the data items being returned for that particular linked resource. So this is a screenshot of the preview UI. So we can see that the link is at the bottom right hand side, TFS bug, and when we put the mouse over on top of this link, we get this small dialog on the left hand side. Here also the top portion where the subject is mentioned, TFS bug, so and so this part is coming from the OSLC